And now, from Grid Square Echo Mike 48, this is 100 Watts and a Wire.
Well, hello and welcome to 100 Watts and a Wire. My name is Christian. My call sign is Kilo Zero Sierra Tango Hotel, and this is the intersection of life and amateur radio. Good evening. If you are joining us at any time live on YouTube, that's how we stream it out on Sundays, 6 o'clock Central. Everybody listening is welcome to join us. Jump in the chat, make a new friend, ask a question if you like, and we invite you here all the time. Every week. Oh, we got some wacky audio happening. We got all right.
What?
I don't know, man. I don't know. I hear something coming back at me. I'm going to start fighting. I'm going to turn and swing. Happy Hanukkah to anybody, our brothers who and sisters who may be celebrating Hanukkah. And Scotty's here also. He is KC3BXN. He's joining me today. People are saying, listen, you bald son, where is Sidecar Steve? Another negotiation? Isn't it an every 3-month negotiation with him? It is holiday time, and he is traveling and spending time with his family. So there you go. He could not join us tonight because family first. And Scotty's here with me. We're going to be hanging and talking about some things with you. And you're welcome to drop a question if you have any. Say hello in the chat, and, of course, listening. Come around Sundays at 6 o'clock. We'll take your questions from Discord, Facebook. We even have the Zoomy Roomy. I haven't come up with a good name for that, but the 100 Watts and a Wire Zoom Room. Last week, during the live coverage of the Sunday Evening Net, I got a surprise. I think they call it the Zoom Bomb. And I let somebody in thinking it was a lady. It had a name, like a lady. And I was like, a lady? Could this be a first? And wouldn't you know, I let the people in. Next thing you know, I see a BBC and like a little man came running across with his junk out. And I'm thinking, where do we go from here? I was kind of like, this is wild. I got caught up in like, who would do this? And meanwhile, it's just, so I don't know, man. I would love, it's great. To each their own. I just don't think that that's what was happening on the other end of that call. It was like a movie or something wacky. Anyhow, the link for the Zoom is in the description if you want to join us live, that kind of thing. That's pretty cool if you'd like to. Let's see. We might take some questions from there as well. We usually spill over into some live coverage of the 100 Watts and a Wire Sunday Evening Net. That's 7 o'clock Central Time, and it's a different stream for you who are here. We'll end this for our podcast listeners and jump on to a different stream. So this week, this has been one of those things, man. I worked for part of the week, and they got, like, I don't know, my mother used to say, you can't get blood from a turnip, something like that. I think my work tried to get blood straight up out of me. We did like a pretty hefty 6-day work week, bunch of events, a big gospel fest, which was really cool. I thought of you, Scotty. I thought he would probably appreciate this because it was just a lot, big choirs. We had some big choirs. We had a band playing with the choir. It was rocking, and gospel's known to be hot, as we say in the business. It's hot, elevated. The sound is loud.
It's intense.
It is loud and intense. So I thought of you on, I guess it was last Saturday.
Those big sessions are a lot of fun to work when you got the big choir, you got the band, you got the Hammond organ, the Leslie cabinets, the speakers are twirling, and everyone's just rocking out. They're a lot of fun.
We didn't get that. That would have been really cool, but it was just a really cool experience. And then a few days before that, we had a quick turnover, which was the hard part because we're not a big theater like the Fox Theater in, St. Louis or in Atlanta. There's a Fox, whatever's big in where you live. We're not that. So we had a Christmas jazz type concert, variety show, comedians. And by the end of the weekend, man, I was like, whew, don't even really remember last week's show except for the BBC and the little man's jump
and the little guy.
Like he was like wiggling like, hey, check this out. I was like, what in the hell? Okay. All right.
Oh,
So
man.
if you join us on Zoom, please put your name and your call sign so we know that that's actually a ham. Stay muted. Raise your hand on the thingy, and I'll bring you in. It's not a big deal. It's just, man, I got tricked. And I could see how that would work. I should have known. Like, there's no women. There's 0.01% women in this audience, right? The demographic is like 40 to, 70 or whatever, or more, 75, whatever it may be. Not one lady, not even a little lady. And I was like, hey, this is the one lady. This is the 0.01 lady. Nope.
What are the chances?
What are the chances that she'd actually be watching and want to like participate in the show? Uh-oh. Where's that button? Where do you get the abort button? Okay. Luckily, I didn't have it up on the screen. That would have been a whole different stream. Good Lord.
YouTube would have categorized you into a whole different realm there.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they would just shut you down. So you got to be careful with that kind of stuff, man. With that, you could just hear it. You could hear it, which was in itself crazy enough. If you're really curious, you could go back to last week's net stream toward the end. I let in the caller. I let him in. It got nutty. Anywho, but since
literally,
yeah, for real, it was absolutely nuts. I wish you could see it. Like I wish I could give that to you, like as a gift. Like you should see this now. It's like I've been to a special place that only certain people have seen. And I couldn't share that with you guys. Like the camera was gone.
Put it out as a Zoom bomb calendar, like go along with the poop and pooches.
Get Ben on that. Yeah, we'll get Ben on that too. Yeah, that was pretty nasty and fun all the same. So that was cool. So like I came home and I'm like, it took me a little bit of time to like deflate and kind of regroup. And, you just burnt. I wouldn't say I was burnt out, but I was definitely fried and needed a couple days. So I've been listening to a lot of radio and dreaming of making another antenna. This is how you know that there's a slight addiction to the ham radio hobby, is that I ended up making 2 of these double bazookas for 20 meters, put them up, and the temperatures have slowly like got lower and lower and lower and lower. It's 26 right now, which isn't terrible. We're going to get a week like from no other. Like, I mean, just like the first real cold is coming this week. I'm talking minus temperatures coming. We're going to get snow, maybe 5 inches on Thursday. We may get a white Christmas because the snow won't melt in time around here, which will be kind of cool. But so I was thinking today, and I'm poking around on the Discord because I'm off now. I'm on vacation. I'm like, I should probably get myself some more coax. I need more coax. I need it. I'm looking around. I found an old roll of 213. This is the coax you do not need to be making antennas out of. It's like $1 a foot or something. And I'm like, this feels like it could be 87 feet. I need 87 feet to make an 80-meter double bazooka. And I'm thinking, 213, this would be really heavy, but you don't have any RG8, man. You should probably go measure it. And I run outside. It was 19 degrees. Ooh. And it comes up about 75 feet. I'm like, okay. I was kind of hoping. And I had to bite the bullet, and I got some RG8. I ordered it. Should be here. And I'm thinking I got to get something ready to cook up while I'm stuck in the house. Like, the snow's going to come. It's going to ice up. The day it'll melt. It'll get cold again. So weather's been nutty. You guys have had some weather though, haven't you? Didn't you get some slushy stuff this week, or the chance of?
Yeah, we had a little bit of freezing rain that came through. Western Maryland got, I think some places got upwards of a half an inch of accumulated freezing rain and ice. But we have a potential winter storm coming end of this week, so we may have a wet Christmas as well. And our not quite a negative temperatures, but at the end of the week we'll be down in the low teens for our low temps. So it's gonna get chilly.
I bet you get this thing we get. Because my brother's back east also, so he's still back there, and so every couple of 2 days after we get something, you guys may get that very same weather. It kind of happens that way. So Thursday we're going to get it. I wonder if like Friday night or Saturday morning, is that when they're talking about you getting something? Yeah.
Yep.
So this could be 5 to 7. It may be downgraded again. They don't know what they're talking about. I don't believe any of it until like the night before. And even then, they've been wrong. So
yeah, they're grasping at straws.
I should have went to school for that. I want to say hello to Mark. He's joining us here. Big Ben is here. He's KX4TQ. He's an enabler. He was like, "Yep, you got to buy that. Don't forget about tape and connectors." I'm like, "Oh man, he's right.
You get the coaxial.
Got to get everything. You got to get everything. Got to get it right." Here's this thing. He's been looking around for these T pieces, also the center pieces that provide support for the double bazooka. If you're listening to this and they're like, "What's the big thing about the double bazooka?" Sidecar Steve made this video on how to make one, right? And the people who are watching it are trying to do it. Now, I know a couple, maybe 3 10 meters that I know of for sure. You're one of them, Scotty. And who else tried to make a 10 meter today? I think Ben.
I think Mark's built he just finished up a 10 meter double bazooka as well.
So, people are trying to make them and doing their own version of them, which is really cool. And I've been talking to Jim in New Mexico, who's got a 3D printer, and he's looking at recreating some sort of T. And I'm like, this is cool, man. This is a lot of fun. But I'm looking to make some antennas. It's almost too cold to hang them. Like I don't know about you guys, but I work kind of bare hands a lot. If I'm dealing with the rope and I'm like, I got to feel that rope or it's going to go zoop through my gloves, 50 feet comes to a crash. So it's been so cold that my hands are like, don't do it, dude, don't do it. Get back inside, make something. And then when it's nice, do it, and I'm off. So I'm going to be making an antenna. And I'm trying to get ambitious and try to do an 80 meter because I've got a normal dipole up for 80 meters. I'd like to see what I can do with the double bazooka on 80 meters. And it's going to be a lot of, I'll be all twisted up. I'll have all kinds of braid.
You got the space, man. Put it up.
I do. I just got to stay organized, and keep things right. If I get too many, all this 40-some feet of coax at my feet, I got to be real neat like Steve was teaching us. He's got everything laid out and it looked real nice. Doesn't always work that way for me. I got stuff on the floor. I was like, what end is that? No, don't do that. Don't cut that end. Ricardo's here. He's in Paradise. What's your temperature there, Ricardo? I wonder. He's in Florida. Frank Gonzalez is here. Let's see. He's got a question about WinLink. Some people probably do. We can maybe get to that this evening and talk about WinLink. I bet you Scotty's got some information on that. Kyle is here. Michael is here. Hello, guys. It's great to see you. Uncle Paul is here as well. Brad, Big Don, and Mark. D. Wispy is also here. Jim, we talked about him earlier. And for PLS. And all that's good. So let's get into some topics. I want to do something a little different now. I noticed that I had a topic on hand a couple weeks ago, and next thing we know, we dropped this double bazooka video, and then the show became the double bazooka. I'm like, I hate putting these labels on. Next thing you know, talk about something else. So we're going to talk about whatever you guys want to talk about. Scotty and Steve will bring topics. I'll bring some topics. Bada bing. First one up. I guess we'll talk about it. It was from TikTok. Maui Belt. I don't know if you're here, Maui Belt. I don't know your name, except for Maui Belt. But he asked, we talked a little bit about phonetics on the TikTok, and he had a question. He was working the 10-meter contest, and he noticed, I think he's a newer ham, and it's a worthy discussion because phonetics can get a little funny with people, how they act with them if you don't use the proper phonetics. There's different phonetics in different parts of the world. We'll focus on the United States here. But he was hearing, instead of sugar or Sierra, he was hearing sugar and some other sort of things. And he was wondering what I was using to get through. And, I made this TikTok video and just talking about I generally use the proper phonetics, which, the ones we use here on stateside. But if I'm working like a station in Japan or, someplace in South America and Sierra doesn't come off well or my signal's not making it, I will use sugar, and I've heard that from the radio. And I sometimes use Tokyo for tango. So I can be Sugar Tokyo Hotel. And I don't know, it makes it a little clearer for some people around the world. And, there are different phonetics. There's a Navy phonetics. We use proper. I always use proper. And in times of emergency, of course, you only use proper phonetics. People get really upset if you don't. Now, in a rag chew situation, though you're on a little watering hole somewhere on 75-meter phone, you're just breaking balls with your buddies. Maybe I become King Zero Shake the House or Stairway to Heaven or, whatever it is. But generally speaking, I always use the proper phonetics. Scotty, your brother's interesting watching your brother now coming up. Does he have that sort of, because this was a newer ham, and I think the newer hams stick to learning those. That was enough for me. I'm like, I'm going to go through this and learn. Any thoughts on phonetics and contesting and that sort of stuff?
So I guess the NATO phonetic is the military phonetics that the U.S. uses, Alpha Bravo, and that's what I learned when I've only been doing ham radio just a little less than 10 years. But I was noticing that as well. You see the sugar, and then they're using the countries or city names. I was doing a little reading on it not too long ago, and there was a ham out in California in the 60s. He used to teach CW on the air. He'd get on there, and somebody has made a whole collection of his recordings from way back in the late 60s. I forget his call sign. I'm sure he's a silent key by now. But he was using the old military phonetics that I learned, and this was the able and sugar. And I hear that from time to time on the air still. So it's kind of the pre-NATO phonetics that the military used back in the 50s and 40s, and then mixed with the current NATO phonetics, which is the one that I guess we're most familiar with these days. And then a lot of DX stations, I noticed they'll tend to use non-NATO phonetics, and so you hear a lot of the country. Or stuff like Radio America and stuff like that. Right. Non-standard phonetics. So I've been listening long enough now where my ears kind of tuned in for all of the variations that I've heard, all the kind of usual suspects for R's and S's and things like that. So it doesn't really throw me off too much. And I find myself now, especially in a contest, I got November at the end of my call, and I find myself using Norway now because a lot of contesters will use that for N, shorter, use faster to get out. And I find myself doing that during contests. It's kind of subconsciously.
Yeah, I think I picked up sugar just listening to guys in different parts of the world. It seemed to be that's what they were able to hear. They would make it out, So if I can make the contact that way, cool. But generally, I'm all about straight phonetics. And I said Navy. It is NATO. Sorry, I misspoke. I got a lot of problems. Well, look at that, Scotty. We've already run into This Week in History. Yeah, it just goes to talk too much. I think I'm talking too much. But your thoughts on phonetics, you can drop us a line. You can drop them in the chat tonight. Remember, listening to the podcast, you can join us 6 o'clock Central Time as we live record this and live stream it out to YouTube. You're welcome to join us and participate. Give us your thoughts on phonetics. I'm a bit of a purist on that, but I do have fun sometimes in a small group. Small group
with the little person running around.
The little person is BBC. I don't even think of the broadcast network anymore. It's I'm totally ruined by that. Thank you, Zoom Bomber. Thank you, Zoom Bomber. BBC is no longer a broadcast network. Well, let's see what happened. This is interesting. This month, the transistor turned 75. It was born in New Jersey in 1947, much like Uncle Paul. November 2 Hotel Yankee Golf. Walter Brayton and John Bardeen. of Bell Telephone Laboratories were responsible for the transistor. They were not responsible for Uncle Paul, but happy birthday to Uncle Paul. He's a Christmas Eve baby, I believe. He might be in the chat tonight, so he also will be turning a big one. If you want to tell him, Uncle Paul, you tell him how old you're going to be. I'm not going to touch it. December 16th, 1925, the dynamic loudspeaker was born, invented by Chester Rice and Edward Kellogg, electrical engineers at General Electric. And on December 24th, 1906, Fessenden, is that right? Fessenden transmits the first voice and music broadcast. So that's pretty good.
Good stuff.
All right, big one. Uncle Paul, how old you going to be, brother? Let him know. He's mentioned it in the Discord. I don't think he's keeping a secret or anything like that. But I don't want to be the one who spills the beans.
Me neither.
Now, I know this close to the holidays can't be no kind of action happening in the month of December in terms of events. Am I right again, Scotty?
Not quite.
Swing and a miss. Oh, that's not good.
So
I can't believe that.
Couple little events. Not much going on. Not too much going on, but there is a few special event stations happening. There's the CW QRS Christmas activity. This is a CW event, goes on for 8 days from December 24th through the 31st, hosted by the CW QRS Telegram group out of Italy. We also have, as most folks will know, the Santa Net is rocking every evening on 3.916 at 7 p.m. I guess that's going to be Eastern time. And then December 24th, the Motor City Radio Club's having their 90th anniversary event. Whiskey 8 Mike, Romeo Mike, out of Inkster, Michigan. They'll be hosting a special event station for their club's 90th birthday.
Well, they still do have some things. Inkster, Michigan.
Not familiar.
No, I've never been there, but it sounds kind of cool. I wonder why they came up with that name. We'll have to look that up. We'll figure that out. And we got some other phonetic feedback coming up. We'll talk about that in just a little bit. We'll let you know if you find value in 100 Watts in a Wire, you can support the content and the community you enjoy by visiting buymeacoffee.com/100watts. It's as easy as buying a cup of coffee, or consider the benefits of a monthly contribution. Our dipole level, people seem to like that one a lot. That's $1 an episode. $1 an episode, just $4 a month. It's cheaper than a real cup of coffee, by the way. Visit buymeacoffee.com/100watts today. And thank you. We want to thank Dave, Whiskey Zero Tango Kilo X-Ray. He's the latest to become a member, and we appreciate that. And we have learned now that Uncle Paul will turn 75 years old. So that is awesome. Ricardo says, I always have a problem saying Oscar due to my accent and voice tone. Many hear Alpha. Also, my birthday was 2 days ago, same day as the loudspeaker. Happy birthday, Ricardo. That's awesome. Let's see here. Victory DP. Sometimes certain phonetics seem to be received easier. Japan, Juliet. But for standardization, NATO is better. I knew you guys would have some feedback. James says, growing up listening to him, W2NZH Whiskey 2 Nancy Zebra Henry. Okay. I get it, man. I get it. You know, the standard phonetics are the ones that the people love, and it's one of those ones you might get punched in the bar. Can you imagine the energy spent on being so upset over the phonetics? But I do feel in the position of the show, like, what do you mean? Zebra. It's zebra. It's not zebra at all. It's Zulu. Punch. Anyway, I forgot what I was going to say about that. But Todd says the standard phonetics are what they are because of the sounds they make. Cuts through noise better, at least to my knowledge. So there you go. So a lot of people do have some opinions on the phonetics. I'm not tripping on that. But again, in cases of emergency, you want to use your proper phonetics. Don't try to be cute when it's much needed. Okay. Now, our friend Don, who works with us, he's on the team. He's on Team 100. You guys can be on Team 100 too. If you want to try running a net, you want to be a net control station, drop us a line. We'll put you in the game. We can do that. That's how we got Don. That's how I approached Paul. I heard Paul in the air, and he's got his testicles dragging all the way across to the West Coast. Like, what the hell? That guy's awesome.
The fortitude.
Yeah, now he's a net control operator. He kicks off 7 o'clock Central Time on Sundays. We kick off the net. And if you want to try it, we can work it out. It's always good to have some backup net control operators. Now, just as I say that, Sunday is Christmas Day. It's a little tricky. We're going to downgrade things to a gathering of the willing because that's, and my wife was like, so what do you got going on Sunday night? Are you still going to do the show? And I'm like, nah, I think we'll just rest the horses and rest the net. But I don't want to pull the plug completely on the radio side because what happens, I've found in my experience, is that your family might make you just a little bit crazy and you may have to run down into the basement or wherever your shack is. Maybe they don't make you crazy. Maybe you just need a break. And people want to get on the air. They do that sometimes. And actually, some people don't have family to visit, and they get on the air. So instead of doing a proper net next Sunday night at 7 and a show next week at 6, we will do a gathering of the willing. If you want to come and hang out, and anybody can host a gathering of the willing, just post on our socials where you are, what band and frequency, and people will come for sure. So that's what's happening next weekend. That's a programming note for you. If you have a question about life or anything, even the build, comment about trying to build the double bazooka, the video, a topic suggestion. Are you struggling with anything? Let us know. Drop it in there, and we will talk all about it. Now, speaking of Don and the net, I started there a little bit ago, but Don posted earlier this week, and I know how he feels because I don't want to paraphrase. I bet you saw this on the Discord because Scotty's in it. It's sort of this back room chat going on here. And Don was considering a call sign change, and he was thinking about it, and I can tell, I thought about it, and I have done it. I've dropped a letter from a call sign. I used to be Kilo Delta Zero, Sierra Tango Hotel. And I don't even know why I did it, Scotty. Like, I was like, when I did it, I felt like I needed to change it for some reason. I got it, it came in, and I was like, yeah, I don't know. It's kind of long. And I'm thinking, I kept hearing, there was all these outside influences talking about, what is it? The Morse code, they wanted a real short one and one that sounds good when you bang it. I'm like, yeah, I need a short one too, man. I need a short one too when I'm banging out C-dub. That never happened. And, but I did look at it. And he seemed to be on that track. Like, maybe I want to explore. What do you guys think? And there was some kind of going back and forth. And to paraphrase what I told him was that, it's such a personal thing, it isn't not, I don't think our call signs define us, right? They're still sort of owned by the FCC, and you kind of, you get issued this thing, and you can change it at any time. But some people hold on to them, and I've changed mine. I took the D out, and I can't imagine now that I would change it unless I wanted to go completely off the grid, right? And I would just like, I don't want anybody to find me ever again. But it's such a personal decision that, only I think the operator can make it. If you find something out there that rings your bell, go for it. And I remember when I was applying to change mine, right, from KD0STH to K0STH, there was another one in Maryland. And I'm thinking, you know what? I'm from Baltimore. It's a 3. It was like a whiskey 3. It was sexy as hell. It was like whiskey 3. Whatever it was 4. It was a 1x2. And I went for it at the time. And I had been on Ham Nation like 5 times, and I wasn't getting caught up. I wasn't tripping on, nobody cares. That's the thing. That's the thing I put on. Nobody gives a flying ass what you do with your call sign. And I think there is part of it, like, because Don mentioned it. I don't want to just give Don a hard time at all. But, he was like, people are starting to know, from the net. I do the net. It's kind of associated with me. And I was kind of like that with Ham Nation. I was like, yeah, KD0 is in a marquee, man. I was like, yeah, man. I made it to the big mothership, the big one. And nobody cares. Nobody cares, man. Nobody. And so anyway, I did apply for this Whiskey 3. I can't remember what the other ones were, but it was like cool. It read well. It was cool phonetics. And I'm like, I'm going to go for this. And I'm going to go for K0STH. And of course, the way it went down was K0STH. But there was a moment, man. I applied for it. And I would have been cool either way in that moment. I probably might regret it. Because I've also heard that too. And I want to let you chime in on this. But I've heard some guys talk about they let it go. They let their call sign go. And then they want to get it back. You know what I mean? Like they had remorse. So if you're here and you want to share some stories about your call sign, your thoughts on call sign, love you, Don. I'm not breaking your balls at all. It just came up today, this week in discussion, so I figured I'd bring it up. Scotty, is this the call sign you were issued? Did you change anything?
Didn't change anything. This was the call sign I was issued in Kilo Charlie 3 Bravo X-ray November. I did actually not too when I got my extra over the summer. I did consider dropping the Charlie for I looked up K3 BXN was available, and I thought about it for a minute, and it would it was kind of Kilo 3 Bravo X-ray November is kind of cool. But I've received a lot of gifts with my original call sign, and then the more I thought about it, the more I decided just to stick with the Kilo Charlie. But yeah, that was the issued call sign for me. I did look up a couple 1x2s, but those are difficult to obtain.
There was one here I remember when I was looking and I felt like I was in the market. I'm like, I'll change. I'll make a change. And again, now I'm totally comfortable with it. It's been a long time. I'm cool with it. I dig it now. I like it more than ever, maybe. But there, you look at those things and what's coming up, and each month, I think I haven't done it in years, but each month something new would be coming up, and I think there was like K0SL, or St. Louis. It looked like St. Louis. It almost looked like Keishi in a way. These and they're very tempting. These kind of short call signs are pretty sexy. And then there's another one that's like, my call sign was issued to me. You know what I mean? I'm the only owner of it. I hope one day maybe my kids will pick it up. I don't know what'll happen. It'll probably just go to the dust or whatever. But some of those vanity call signs, they've been around. You know what I mean? Like there's like 3 or 4 people may have had that call sign. And then you're like thinking in the book, Shorty, I thought you died. Charlie, I thought, no, I got it. Name's Christian, So that's a little, I'm like, that pick up somebody else's call.
That would be weird.
On the other end, we know DJ, he's with us here. He picked up his grandfather's call sign, which I think is super cool.
That's something else entirely.
Completely different scenario. Let's see. Mark says he only thinks about changing during contests because it's a mouthful to him. What's his call sign? He didn't put it down. What's your call, Mark? We'll come back to it. D Wispy says, I got lucky with my call. He's Kilo India 5. Shy, Sierra, Hotel, Yankee. I'm never changing that one. I like that too. If only there was like some ham radio, like adult place. Like, hey girl, I'm KI5 Shy. He'd have all the ladies. Let's see here. Frank says, I was KD7 Papa, Golf Papa. I like mine now. Let's see. That's what he is. Kilo 7 Papa Golf. Papa. Let's see. What's Greg saying here? I kept my old call for a long time. I went for a short one once. I got my extra. I was never really active with my old call, so it seemed like a good chance for a fresh start. Yeah, I think that's cool. Gotcha. He's KC8 BGC.
Yeah, that'd be a good time to make a change. I had become much more active with my original call, and that factored into me not changing it.
James says, my dad wants me to take his call sign when he dies, Whiskey 2 November Zulu Hotel, but I kind of like mine, KG5 LTL. Yeah, a little bit of, that's a tough one. I like both of those call signs, and I totally get it. You know, I don't know what will ever happen to mine. I imagine it'll get reissued unless one of my girls decide they're going to do it, and they might decide at some point they would want to do it. They're around me and amateur radio enough to be exposed to it. So yeah, that's where we are. Let's see, Mark Kidd. He's a Whiskey Mike 9 Kilo. His original was Kilo Delta 9 Lima Tango Foxtrot. So it's all good. I think it depends on what your goals are, you know, what you want to do. And if you're into Morse code and you want to get a shorter one because you want to move quicker in the contest, some people just have some ones that they're issued that are really tough. And I haven't had the heart to say anything. I've heard guys and ops on the radio talk about, you know, like really difficult. Yeah, hey, it's Billy here. It's Kilo Golf Zulu, you know, whatever. And it's super hard. And the ops will come back and be like, yeah, that's a mouthful there. Yeah, I got you. Zulu Sierras. I don't have the heart to tell anyone, man. And when they upgrade, I'll get a note from somebody with their 100-watt ID saying, you know, I upgraded, changed my call. Like, it's cool, man. Whatever you dig, I dig. I'm good with that.
You do you.
You do you, man. Todd says, I'll never change mine. He's November 3, Papa, Kilo, Juliet. And that's all he's got to say about that. All right, brothers and sisters, we're moving right along. Along. I think it's time to see that there are no more Hamfests.
Well, you would be correct. I couldn't find a single Hamfest happening this coming weekend.
Well, looky there. How about that?
Winner chicken dinner.
I know there's a bunch of breakfast, Saturday breakfasts, and all those are happening around me, but no more Hamfest until next year. And there's one not too far from here in Illinois. It's the St. Louis and Suburban Radio Club. They do it every year, and thank goodness they're back to live action again. So I'm going to try to escape and go over. I think it's like the second or third week of January, but I'll let you know. I'll post it in our events tab. So if you've got a club or that has a gathering, let us know. You can share it in the events channel or on the Discord server, or drop us a line. The contact information is provided in the description. And hey, if you're looking for a power solution, check out Bioenno Power, offering the best lithium phosphate batteries for your ham radios. Visit bioennopower.com. That's BIOENNO power.com. All right, there you go. Just getting a little jammy jam on. All right, this is the portion of when we normally, okay, oh, that ends so hard. Stop it. I pushed the wrong button. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to try to tell you I did something right. That was all wrong. Usually we take a slew of questions. Right now with Sidecar Steve being out, we'll wait. Scotty and I have had some news coming across this week we can talk about and bring you into the conversation as well. And we got a report from WRTH, that's a World Radio TV Handbook, and Mike Terry reports that WTWW has signed off the air for the last time. They're a shortwave radio station and a lot of power, too. I remember, I'll tell you a little story about them in a minute. They've got plans to continue to provide programming, but instead they're going to do it over the internet. The station operator, Ted Randall, you guys remember Ted, Whiskey Bravo 8, Papa United Mike. He cited difficulties in meeting the station's ongoing expenses. And what I heard through the grapevine. I don't know if it's true, and I'm not in his playbook. But we need music for him. $15K a month. That's what I heard. $15K a month. Now, that could be just somebody guessing there, but you know what? If you think about it, the tubes, the things that need to go up on that tower, keeping that transmitter going on I don't know, I can't remember how many watts they are, but it's a big stick signal.
100,000 watts or something?
Something like that. And it's based in Tennessee. WTWW had a wide range of programming. They were at 5.83 megahertz, along with music, amateur radio content on 5085. The station was among many of the broadcasting programming directed toward Ukraine following the invasion of Russia earlier this year. The station went on the air in 2010 and is currently on WRMI. Now, years ago, and what a great service that Ted has put together, because I think his son worked there, and I would go down to Xenia or Dayton, where it was. And being a radio guy myself, broadcast side, I would just sit and watch him. Like, I would sit and watch, like they would have people come sit in the chair, and he's talking, he's doing a live show going on. I'm like, that's cool, man, that's cool. I finally met him. I met him through a telephone call. I don't even know how it all came about, but it was, he was asking questions about me. He had heard some things about me, right? And I'm like, okay, here we go. What'd she say? Nope, nothing like that. Nothing like that. But it was like, this person said this, and this wasn't, these stories get around, but nobody, this is kind of what I do. And here I am. If you are around this, you might be able to talk. And I'm like, okay, tell me what you heard. So anyway, he goes on, talks about it, but he's talking about the expense too of that station and what it cost. And 100 Watts and a Wire ran on that station for a while. I would just kind of send them the file and it would just kind of play. And I never really followed up on it. I was sending it to him for a while. And then I was like, is anybody even hearing that thing? And it wasn't for a lack of their signal, because they were really boasting that they could hit four corners of the earth, and I'm like, well, that sounds good to me. And
play my stuff.
Sure. And then it wasn't being played anymore. And I was like, okay, I don't know. And we had some other shortwave station in Maine, I think. And they agreed to play the show. And I was like, that sounds cool. So we were kind of on shortwave radio for a while, and it sounded good coming across the radio. And then the dude asked me for money on the East Coast. And I was like, what you talking about, Willis? I'm like, nah, I don't have any money, man. And it was like a pay to play. He's like, you pay for the time. I said, nah, man, that isn't how it went. I talked to somebody and just send you the file. I've been doing that for months. And that's how we broke up. I was like, oh, you thought I was supposed to pay? Like, he came back for money. He was like, yeah, you ain't paid for months. I'm like, I ain't never paid. Let me tell you, take me off the list, because I ain't never paying. That was never the deal. So anyway, that's how that went down. But thanks to Ted, I think any time you're putting out thousands of dollars a month, I mean, it's hard enough to keep the lights on here, that's the thing. We got to be community supported, but to keep the things on that tower, to keep that radio station. And I dream of having an AM radio station, but the reality of that is that you could get one, buy it, but keeping it on the air and keeping that signal going, that's a whole different thing, man. And who's going to get up there and change, do whatever and fix it? I don't know, sidecar, I guess.
Hook your Drake up to the tower, and here you go. We're getting out now.
Yeah, we're just doing this now, But I dream of playing music on the radio, but man, not at that cost as the owner. If that number is true, $15K is an awful lot of money to have to pay out, and then to make any more money on top of that. But I believe they went on the air in 2010 is the information I came back with. And I can only say thanks, man. What you've done is you've promoted radio. You've promoted ham radio for a long time. And I hope you figure it out on WRMI. So you also found this story this week about a ham radio operator, old Ed Lawson. I say old with love, just like OLE. He got lost in the woods walking his dog this week. And because he had his HT in his hand, he ended up getting a call out because I think his phone died. Is that right, Scotty? What do you know about this story?
Yeah, I was reading the article. He went out for a walk with his dog in an area that he was very familiar with. Have some hiking trails in the wooded area around his property, and him and the dog were feeling frisky, and they decided to go off the beaten path a little bit. Apparently there was a logging road or something that he would have to kind of cut through to get to that path, and that was going to be his landmark to figure out where he was. But then when he got there, he realized that the logging company had come through and cleared the whole area out, so his landmark was gone, and then he didn't know which way he needed to go. So in the article, they said he pulled out his phone to call his wife, and his battery was dead on the phone. It was didn't have any power left. Couldn't get the call out, and but he had his trusty HT with him. And the area where he lives recently, the radio club in the area talked this. I forget the name of the place. But it was a recreation area, and they worked out a thing where they got a repeater tower put up because the recreation area wanted to have a tower so they could do microwave communications around their thing. So they came to an agreement where, we're going to put this tower up for our thing, and you guys can have your repeater antenna on our tower as well. So that just went up fairly recently. So he was able to get out on his HT to the repeater, get a hold of somebody who then got in touch with his wife, and she was able to call 911, and they did a little search and rescue and finally found him.
That's the in 2017 Gunstock Mountain Resort.
That's it.
They installed the tower, and yeah, man, sun went down. He was off the trail, and dog was like, "Hey, man, do you know which way we're going or what? Because
time for the kibbles.
I just smell like dinner, man." And yeah, and so yeah, that's a good. We hear stories like this. Thank goodness he had this because the phone failed him. The battery life drained. I don't know how you guys are, but I'm a little obsessive with it. I don't like to see my battery on my phone go down past half. Sometimes it does. My wife, other people I know, sometimes they'll let it go. I got 5%. I'm like, ooh, that makes me nervous. It's like having less than like a quarter tank of gas in the car for me. But yeah, a friend here got lost. His phone was no good, and luckily I didn't catch his call sign. Unfortunately, they didn't put that in the article. I wish.
No, they didn't mention it.
Safe to say, Mr. Lawson's wife beat his ass. So I'm sure that part got left out of there too. I'm sure she scared the bejesus out of him in return for that. So that was interesting. Gunstock Mountain Resort. They put that up there, and ham radio operators have access to the tower. The signal, he got out and was saved. He didn't have to stay out there, and the dog was indeed hungry. And, it could have been worse. Could have been worse.
Yeah.
It could have been a lot worse.
That's that classic, ham radio saves the day sort of scenario that you always see people writing about.
He didn't pack a day bag. He didn't have that. He admitted, he was basically, he was saved. He saved himself in a way by carrying this radio, but he kind of fell short. Like he didn't take his day bag. He probably didn't take any food. He may not have had enough water. The dog was definitely like, man, come on, let's turn around. Hungry.
Dude, what's wrong?
Come on, man. I'm going to eat you in a minute. Come on now. So, in this time of year, it's, you can just got to be real careful out there. We're talking about snow. The whole preparedness angle comes up. I'm like, yeah, what would I have taken out there on the hike? And he probably thought I've done this many times. Let's go. Scenery changes. He got a couple of twists in the thing, and he's he's kind of ass out there, lost. But look, good news for him, he was found. And now we're like just a few days from winter time, and I always shift on. Like, there's so many great things that have come through. Like, FEMA, love it or hate it. I don't know why you hate it. They do give you some good advice. And the winter storm, I ended up breaking out. I got this from Uncle Paul. He sent it to me. And a thick stack of things for like, okay, when the storm comes. And okay, like, then this was the winter one. And, I'm looking at it, what to prepare and what you should take and, survive, what to plan for knowing. And I guess the joke is you need to have some toilet paper, some milk.
Milk and toilet paper.
Bread.
Ready to run.
We got bread. I've never seen so much French toast being made, except for when it snowed back in Baltimore. My God! And here's the same too. They're not any different here, but and talk about maybe getting some gasoline in your car and being ready for, several days without power. Start to think about that stuff as we creep into winter and these snowstorms start to come. And then once it does, stay off the roads, limit the time outside. So many people go to shovel the snow and they have these heart attacks. You got to think about that. That's another thing. So some good information from FEMA, how to stay safe when the storms come, tornadoes, hurricanes, they got all this sort of stuff. So there you go. All right, what else do we got, Scotty? We got to let them know about the Sunday Evening Net that happens immediately following the live recording of this old load of cobblers. We do a little live coverage.
I got the link for that since it's be a different stream. I'll drop that in the chat for everybody to follow along over if they like.
If you like, you can come and check us out on Zoom if you want to call in. It gets a little dicey here, and after the big BBC thing and the little man's penis, I'm a little shell-shocked with the Zoom bombing, so we'll do that over in the fun place, which is called the Sunday Evening Net. Don't forget, look us up on Discord. We're on Facebook and we're on YouTube, trying to meet you wherever you are. We're also on TikTok. So each morning I get out there and I'll walk around, and it's getting colder and colder, and I'm bundled up doing my 60-second ham radio thought of the day. You're welcome to come over there. If I get to 1,000 on TikTok, I can live stream. I might do the live stream walks, maybe do some antenna work. It's different from in the studio. We have a long way to go, though. We did crack a couple of hundred. So that is cool. And you're welcome to join us wherever you dig it. Some people don't like TikTok. Some people don't like YouTube, Google. Some don't like Facebook anymore. Discord is kind of cool. We can kind of categorize what we're interested in and put little channels and that sort of thing. People are cooking, eating, taking pictures, talking ham radio lots of times, antenna work.
All sorts of cool stuff over there on the Discord.
It is good. Let's see. DJ asked, I wonder if people in Jersey are allowed to shovel their own snow because they can't pump their own gas. Boom. Nice. A little shot there. I think that's a shot. That ought to get Uncle Paul going. But
Shots fired.
He's probably heading for it. We also want to know what you're struggling with. If you have a topic that you would like us to explore with you, and for the greater community, let us know. You can drop it in chat, drop us a line, let us know what you're struggling with, things you want to talk about. And just like something really simple like this. I found this in my box, and this is a insulator, right? It's a Delta center insulator.
Delta, yeah, nice.
And from what I remember, these are pretty good, but there's something in my mind that's telling me I thought this was bad. Because something went wrong. And I'm looking at it, I'm like, why would anything be wrong with this? Something's wrong with you, child. And I'm like, huh? And I'm like, I got to test it. I'm going to test it because I think I probably made an antenna that didn't really do well with this thing. And maybe I didn't do something right. So I found a piece of gear and I'm like, yeah, let me see if I can make something out of it. I'm just fiending for making another antenna. But hanging it is not great.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to get my brother to let me put up some double bazookas, some big ones. Obviously I can't do that here in Ellicott City, but he's got the space like for some 20 meter, 40 meter, 80 meter bazookas, and maybe get some nice antennas kind of semi permanently installed up at his place. So when I go up there for field day and then winter field day coming up, I can I can just tap right into these antennas that are just waiting for me to show up, or for Brian if he ever gets around to getting his general and stuff. So
this just in, WA2JOE, Pastor Joe says, "Hey DJ, I'll think of you when you're pumping your gas in the rain." So there you go. I knew we'd get a little bit of, they got a little territory. Survey says that is correct. Okay, I feel like there's some, because we're heading into Christmas weekend, we will sort of, maybe I'll do a show during the week. I feel like maybe I'll do a couple of live. I'm off, so this is really cool, and it's cold as hell. It's going to get colder. We're going to be like, 5 degrees minus temperatures this week with snow on the ground. Be a good time to stay in, build some antennas, make some plans, maybe get on the air, run some live streams. So look for those in our Discord and Facebook and our socials. I'll let you know when we go live. Subscribe to the podcast. All that will be very helpful for us, and it'll let you know that when we're on the air. So Merry Christmas. If you are celebrating Christmas, Happy Hanukkah. That kicked off tonight at sundown. My brother was lighting up the menorah, and not the menorah. I said that earlier. I said it wrong. And my 8-year-old corrected me. I'm like, "It's your accent, Dad. You said it wrong." I'm like, "Menorah." Yeah, I'm trying to get it out. My brother did that tonight with his kids and the dreidel and all the fun and the chocolate coins. So Happy Hanukkah to all our friends. All right, stay tuned. Over most of these same stations, we will be giving you live coverage of the 100 Watts in a Wire Sunday evening net. For now, for our friends who are listening on their commute, have a great holiday break. I hope you have some time off. Stay tuned to us, and we'll be streaming soon. Let's hear some music. Scotty, thank you for listening to all this crap tonight I gave to you. At least we did not have to listen to Sidecar Steve, which is always pleasant. Contractually, we are in negotiations.
He's holding out for more jelly beans.
From his second home and wherever he is. KC3BXN73. And thank you, sir. We will catch up with you again real soon.
7-3, Kristen. Thanks, man.
Take care of yourselves, everybody. Look after each other in this wild, wild world. Have a great holiday break. Merry Christmas to everyone. Happy Hanukkah. And by all means, if you can, please try and stay above the noise. We'll see you again next time.
To join the 100 Watts in a Wire community, visit 100wattsindawire.com.